Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and I always find it interesting to see where certain celebrities' careers go as they kind of shoot themselves up. They have their meteoric rise, if you will, and there's been no larger meteoric rise than one half of the Paul brothers, Jake Paul. There's, as much as I do not like this guy, and I do not like him at all, there is literally no denying that Jake Paul has had a very interesting career for the short amount of time he has been alive on this planet. Stuff he's been able to do just over the course of the past couple years because he was able to piggyback on his brother's success is more than people I know have spent decades attempting to accomplish while living and working in Hollywood. Some might argue that it's not fair, but no one can argue that he doesn't put in the work. Whether you find value in it or not, that's entirely up to you. I think a lot of it's just childish nonsense, but then again, I'm not the target demographic. But that being said, it turns out that Jake Paul is going to be getting something else here too, because YouTube has apparently ordered a YouTube Red series for Jake Paul. It's currently in the works, and it's not what you think. It is not what you think. Now, when I first heard Jake Paul is getting a YouTube show, my first thought was, ha ha, Logan, your brother's gonna usurp you. Because it's true. No, it's true. Logan Paul's screw-ups earlier this year aside, I mean, his brother is going to eventually completely usurp Logan Paul, which then is going to be a really interesting, you know, power dynamic when that whole thing shifts and Logan then goes into the attack mode because his ego has been damaged. But at the same time, what this is doing, this is not what you think. Like, you figure, oh, Logan Paul pranks, they're going to do a, you know, YouTube prank show because that's what the audience wants, right? Never mind the fact that right now Jake Paul is in fact being sued by somebody because of a prank. There was a prank a while back where they put this really loud, like, industrial horn inside of his truck and they were driving around and they were beeping it at people unsuspectingly. And one guy who you see on camera go, ow, my ear, is suing them for well, damage to his ear, right? Going after him in civil court for this, and it's on camera and it's in the and it's on, you know, his YouTube page. So it's not like, you know, they're not going to do that because there's a liability there. And also, I think we're past the age of Punk'd being a popular show. However, this is going to be more of a late night comedy show, right? Like a late night talk show sort of thing. So Logan Paul will do probably, or Jake Paul, sorry, will end up doing like a monologue. This is how I'm interpreting this way, because right now there's no information on it. But he'll do probably like, you know, like, hey, what's up, Paulers, Team 10, I'm Jake Paul and shit. You know, did you happen to see me fake my virginity this week? I didn't tase no rats, but I beat one with a crowbar. I got no idea, but something along those lines he's going to do. And then, you know, he'll do the monologue, and then he'll cover some news or whatever, talk about what's going on in the world a little bit, maybe a comedy sketch or two, and then he'll bring on guests, and he'll probably bring on other influencers. Now, I don't just want to sit there and say YouTubers, but the likelihood of that is going to be very high. It will be, you know, the people that are also influential, the people out there that have large audiences that they can all kind of siphon off of, the people out there that are probably very friendly to Team 10. That's what he's going to do. Or that's one take on it. Or he's going to go at this like Vice fucking media. Now, when the Parkville shooting happened last month, Jake Paul did something that he's very prone to do, which is to dive headfirst into something as a way to make it all about him, kind of, and also try to find a way to capitalize on a situation while coming at it from an altruistic perspective. And if you don't believe me on this one, when he did his diss track video, when he talked about how he met that girl from the Make-A-Wish Foundation and like how it changed him, but he had just, you know, met her like a couple days before and he was already using her as a way to gain like social sympathy points. And then as soon as Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, he went out there with his friends. I mean, they did do some good. I'm not going to sit there and argue against that. They obviously helped out some people, but they ended up also very much, you know, vlogging it, putting it out there and profiting off of it. So how much of that? And this was also right after everything, the controversy surrounding him in his house, him being fired off of Bizarrevark, all that stuff went down. There was a direct reason for these things. It was good optics, good PR. However, Parkland is what I want to get back to. Parkland. With Parkland, he ended up going down there and interviewing Marco Rubio, and he talked to some of the other students, and, you know, he approached it with a level of seriousness similar to his brother approaching anti-suicide measures, right? And like his return after the whole, you know, faked forest video. And so you've got that. And I do give him credit for at least attempting to tackle it from a serious perspective. And I also give Logan Paul credit from tackling it from a serious perspective, even if the reasons why they were doing this were completely transparent and, you know, you could tell, but they tried. And for that, I'll at least give him a modicum of credit there. That could be what he wants to go do next. Doing more of the hard-hitting docudrama sort of thing that made Vice very popular, but tackling it from maybe a social media influencer perspective. Now, if I were in his shoes, that's actually more what I would go for, because I just happen to find that stuff more interesting anyway. And there's always a litany of subjects to cover and an amount of stuff that, you know, his audience would very much find interesting, because the kids who were impacted by the Parkland shooting are predominantly his demographic, maybe on the older side, but still a demographic. And these are kids, as evidenced by the March for Our Lives rally, that they have an active, invested interest in these sort of things, and maybe that sort of activism. And so if he's going that particular perspective, that could be something that he wants to do. And these are, you know, right now, here's what we know is YouTube has confirmed that they've ordered a pilot. The pilot's supposed to start shooting in May. But there's also a handful of other YouTubers who are going to be doing YouTube content for YouTube Red, and that's about it. That's what we know. They've ordered nothing to series. But this is freaking Jake Paul we're talking about here. Love the guy or hate the guy, he has an audience, he has a following, and these people will follow him. And so I would argue that whatever late night talk show style of content he's going to put together, it is probably going to end up being what is picked up. And to be fair, I'm very interested to see what he comes up with. It's not that I feel that Jake Paul will do anything groundbreaking or world-changing, but if he approaches it from a serious enough perspective, it might be a sign of maturity. And I think with where things are at on YouTube in some respects, well, we could use a whole lot more of that. What you just saw was a shorter clip from a longer show. The Rustled Podcast airs every Sunday through Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard on rustled.net. Please consider subscribing to the channel as well as 3 Buck Theater and potentially becoming one of our sponsors at patreon.com/mundanematt. Thank you and have a great day.